What's going on YouTube? Welcome to my YouTube channel, Buy Low Sell Shy. I'm your host Shy, and today we're basically going to go over sales. I haven't really done an update on sales in the last 14 days. Was away this week for watching my daughter's or visiting my daughter's graduation in Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton, Florida. So I did a couple clips with some of the places we visited. It was really cool. But sales were good. It was surprising. I actually turned any promotions and sales off while I was gone. I did put my store in I'm away mode, and the sales kept coming in. So even though I did not do any draft bank stuff, I was able to get 54 listings up in the last 14 days, which isn't a ton. It's about 4 listings or around 5 listings per day. But the sales were good. I did average about $131 in sales. Today is Sunday, so we're just beginning today. But had some, had a $372 day the day I left and put my store on vacation and didn't put any sales on anything. So I just thought it was weird. I figured, I don't know if you guys get caught up in this, but when you constantly market your store, meaning you do like sales. So what I do is I'll put like my older stuff that's over a year old. I'll put that like at 50% off because I just want to get rid of it. And I'll kind of tear it down. So I'll do like 30, 35% for stuff that's not quite a year, but around 9 months and 6 months. And then anything new I list, I usually run a sale for like either 5 or 10%. So it's gonna be a cool video because I'm really surprised some of the things that actually sold. So first we'll get with the items I got listed. So this is the most recent listing. And for those that need some advice with just listing stuff on eBay, pictures and titles are super important. I don't believe you need an AI system to kind of help you out with this. So here's Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart. They have a very famous match in WrestleMania 13. And there's a set that sells for 50 bucks all day, every day on eBay. And this is an open set. So I got these figures from an estate sale. And I just posed them just as they pose in the actual package, the brand new packaging. So all this is missing is the packaging. There's no accessories. And when you take your photos, just, I guess, take photos as if you're like a machine or a robot, basically how the buyer would want to see all the details on the photos. So I always start with, what you're selling, like a close-up as much as you can, and then just slowly rotate them. So that way you can see, and then I always do the top of the head because you know if you sell a figure and he's got a big old dent in the top of his head or a big old piece of marker, your buyer's going to be upset. And you also want to take a picture of the bottom of the feet for action figures. But that's pretty much it. It takes like less than 2 minutes. I'd use my cell phone for the photos. I got up listed. I'm the cheapest one on eBay. Pretty sure it's going to sell if someone's interested in the set. But the items I got listed, found some unique items. Got this Metropolitan Museum art watch. I guess it's from like the 80s. It's a really cool watch. So when it rotates, uh, instead of second hand, there's like this whole plastic thing with colors, and it just kind of rotates as time ticks by. So that was really cool, and I don't think I paid much more than like a couple bucks for this item, and it's actually brand new. So all I had to do was change the battery. So I'm the only one with a listed Metropolitan Museum art watch that I paid $2 for. I already have a case of batteries. I'm very familiar with opening up watches. It's just a quartz watch, real easy, simple to change the battery, but it does have the plastic on the top and the bottom. And I also took photos of the plastic peeling from the back. So if someone gets this, they basically have a brand new watch, which is crazy because it's from the 80s. So that's really cool when that sells. Had this like Edmark pantograph enlarger and reducer. I guess that's like if you're tracing a photo or a piece of artwork, you can make the image smaller or bigger. So it's kind of like a helper that lets you do that, which I thought was kind of cool. And then I got some pins listed this week. I did find some 2025 Denver minted pennies. So guys, when you get change at the store, I got this from Chipotle when I picked up lunch the other day. You can actually get pennies that will pay for your meal. So they gave me 4 pennies and change, and they're all 2025 Denvers. These are the first times I've seen any 2025 anything as far as pennies go. And those of you who don't follow me for the coins, the penny is being discontinued. So 2025s, if they're in decent shape, which they should be, but if you do get them, definitely set them aside. Don't just spend them because they're worth about $4. Ooh, and I noticed too, I've got to update this to that. So anytime you have a coin that's under $20 and less than 3 ounces, you want to go and set your shipping to a standard envelope, and it'll go from $4, and then this should go down to 74 cents. So I'll show you that here. So we'll refresh this. It'll be 4 cents. Ooh, you can't see that. It'll be 74 cents for shipping versus $4.16. So that's very important to make sure you do that because you don't want to be charging someone $4 for that. So I'll fix these other three in another video. All right, so here's what the penny looks like. You don't have to take a lot of photos either. It's just an uncirculated penny. So definitely show all that. But there's a lot of sellers on eBay that basically show a perfect penny, and then they'll just have rolls and rolls of it, and they sell them for like $4 each. So not sure if you guys knew that, but you can make money on a penny, and it'll cost you a penny. Or cost you nothing because it's just change that you got. Okay, so I got some pennies listed. Got some actually in this pin lot that I purchased, and I bought this pin lot from eBay. I've got less than like 50 cents into each pin. One was an actual 1/8 plated or 1/8 total weight 10 karat gold pin or charm. It's some type of fraternity. It's very old. And then this very, very tiny little gyro here is solid 10 karat. So it's a 0.4 grams. So that's why I'm asking 45 for it. And it did have some really nice pins in the lot. I do like selling any type of pin just because they're so small. I'm the only one with this very unique Indian arrowhead from Sturgis. And eBay's telling me to boost all this stuff, which I don't know what that's all about. It's kind of annoying. But you can list like moose or Masonic type pins, which are cool. And then this is pretty cool too. This is WRTV, so this is a TV station, Channel 6 in Indianapolis. And obviously this person worked for the station because they actually have pins that a newscaster would wear. So be curious to see if it was anybody famous, but they obviously covered the Indianapolis Speedway when WRTV and Target was advertising, put the advertisement on the IndyCar. So I just lotted it all up. It's a very unique pin lot. I'm sure it'll sit for a while, but someone probably local to the Indianapolis area or someone that grew up in that area that collects pins would love to actually have TV station pins. So do keep your eyes peeled on that. And then these Indy pins are really nice. There's people who collect all kinds of Indianapolis Speedway stuff, especially little cars here. Then we got a Monday Night Football, which I thought was cool. It's a cool pin. Looks like this person did go to Indiana for university, and there's even an Indianapolis Marion City Council member gavel pin. So you could only get this pin if you were on the city council, which I thought was pretty cool. So any type of pin is collectible, especially when it has provenance. And Las Vegas ones sell all the time. Ladies like to buy them, or dudes like to buy them, put them on their hat or put them on their vest, and it brings them luck. Got some Paramount. We got the WB. We have a very cool 1971 New York State Golf Association contestant, I guess, medal of some sort. These are some shoes that my daughter's friend gave after they moved. So I got like a little box of stuff to list for her. Most of it was clothes. I just put out my garage sale. I have a PlayStation 2 system listed for my neighbor Larry. This was his son's. So I priced up pretty aggressively, $108 with 2 controllers, all the fixings that you need to hook it up, including 2 memory sticks and 3 versions or 3 different games of Guitar Hero 2, 1, 2, and 3. CSG men's jogger pants I put up. I've never owned a pair of CSG, but this must have been my daughter's friends' ex-boyfriends. You know, the boyfriends always leave their clothes at the ladies' houses, so I got to list some of the nicer stuff. This Barb Marley shirt, I've had that forever. My daughter wore it, and now she finally retired it for the 3rd time. So I did finally take it from her and list it because she put it in the pile of I don't want to bring these clothes to my next house. So my daughter did move out 3 weeks ago. Actually, yeah, 2 weeks ago. Or was it 3 weeks ago? Sunday. So she left a big pile of clothes, and I just took anything that was decent. Actually, these scrubs here I have to send to my daughter in Florida, so she doesn't have to spend $50 on a pair of scrubs. So I've got to delist that one. But scrubs do sell on eBay, and you just want to make sure you list the size. They are expensive. Typically, you got to go to an actual scrub store. And then my neighbor Larry gave me this Stanley Cup signed by Patrick Sharp. There's no like authentication of it, but he had box seats. He went to all the Blackhawks games. And when I mean like really good seats, I mean he got the leather ones. He had such good seats. He actually purchased his leather seats from Chicago Stadium. Now, obviously, this championship happened after the Chicago Stadium was shut down, but he's got like the leather seats in his garage. So I think Pete from Craigslist Hunter is going to visit his house next week or later this month and probably do like a video tour. So Pete's trying to get out from Craigslist Hunter. So if you guys follow him, my neighbor Larry's already been in there, sold a bunch of stuff. I didn't see him on any videos, but I think Pete's going to visit his garage. He's got a lot of fishing stuff and a lot of Blackhawks memorabilia that I think Pete would be interested in to sell to his viewers. Ryan Sandberg passed away, and I remember I had this actual poster, so it's a 92 Cubs All-Star poster, so it had Sandberg and Maddox on it. It's a really nice condition poster. I'm surprised it didn't sell. And then what I decided to do with my VHS tapes is instead of individually listing them, I kind of pieced them together. So I put my brand new media together instead of selling it one at a time because shipping's so expensive. I lotted up all the kids' movies that were like in those larger bubble. These are all brand new too. They're all sealed. And then I took all the actual sealed movies, just regular genre movies, you know, like Jerry Maguire, Lone Ranger, American Dream. There's some weird movies in here. Lotted all those together. What I noticed though is if you have movies that are Halloween or horror based, they sell right away. So there's definitely people that collect that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, we already talked about these things. So that's what I got actually listed, which was not much. But here are some of the sales, which is kind of crazy. So I did mention the Dansko album I picked up. So I picked these up for $10 at my local coin shop. I only pick them up if they're in really good condition. And this one, there are a lot of Morgan Dollar sets out there, but this one's a very unique one. It's a date set. So it's a little easier album to fill. It is very, very hard to find. And I did sell it for $62. So if you guys are at your coin shop and they're selling Dansko albums and you see the 7071 or 7171 Morgan Dollar date set, it's not a $10 book. It's easily $60, and that's for used. And obviously it has to be in clean condition. Sold some jewelry. This ring here was my neighbor Larry's. So again, I have a consignment deal with him. So anything I sell on eBay for him, after fees and everything, we just split it down the middle and I hand him cash, which I'm cool with. Sold a watch, sold another Dansko album. Anything fishing related, that's from my neighbor Larry. And we got a Bratz doll sold here. This was kind of a surprise. So this is an old ERN Crown and Sword razor blade set, and it actually has the original box. That's something I picked up from that Skokie estate sale. So if you guys have watched my channel, fill a grocery bag for $10. This was one of the items that I was like, man, this is going to have some value. So it was really cool to get $30 out of that item. I did finally list the silk scarves. So these are all the scarves that I actually got listed. And I did that, well, I think I already listed those on our last video. But they're actually selling, which is surprising. So I know I'm a dude, and I know ladies probably know about silk scarves, or maybe you don't, but Silk scarves made in Japan are highly sought after. Now, most people don't wear silk scarves anymore, but they do collect them, or maybe they do wear them. And if you find them and they're vintage, anything silk is worth some money. So it was really cool to sell this one for 22 bucks. This Dooney Burke bag I picked up for 10 bucks from an estate sale, sold that for 58. I did have to do a little bit of cleaning on it, but it wasn't too bad. Here's another item from that Skokie estate sale. Again, the $10 fill a grocery bag, up for 10 bucks. This is one of the larger items I placed in there, but everything was brand new in it, so that was really cool to sell that for 18. This car, if it was in like perfect shape, it'd probably be like $100 car, but it's basically a parts car, so I'm assuming someone bought that to put in like a train set model for a G-scale train. That's a larger train. So the Buffalo Nickel, I definitely lost money on this Khalil Mack Zebra Prism card. I remember spending like close to 28 bucks for this like 3 years ago. That's why I don't do trading cards. I really suck at them. So unless you're totally into trading cards like all the time, don't buy them unless it's like a no-brainer. You know, if you find anything with zebra on it and you can get it for a buck, then yeah, pick it up. But don't buy stuff on eBay to resell on eBay. It's a horrible business venture. Sold a torch lighter that I had when I was cleaning out the other items that I delisted. I found this item. I don't know why I didn't list it, so I listed that real cheap, sold that right away. Sold a Tweety Bird watch. Picked this trinket up for like $1. I picked up some of these trinkets just to kind of see how they would go, so I grabbed some at an estate sale last year and at a garage sale in Glen Ellen. They were only $1 a piece, and I just grabbed them all because they looked like in good shape, but probably would not do that again because they sit for a long time, so that took like over a year to sell. This coin I have, or this token I have a quarter into, so that was nice to sell for $4. Another lure from my neighbor, Buffalo Nickel. This is my brother's old stuffed Gerber Precious Triceratops. It's a very large plush, so if you guys see that at an estate sale for like $1 or $2, pick it up. It's probably worth at least 18 bucks, depending on condition. I listed some pens that I picked up from that estate sale because I had no money into them, and it sold because it's back to school time. I grabbed this Vegas. This to me reminds me of someone that like wears a hat when they're out, you know, fancy, looking fancy out there with a hat. So this I just called it a casino glitter sequins sparkling hat. It doesn't really sparkle, but it definitely has some sequins on it. So again, if you see a hat like this and it's in good shape, it's worth 18 bucks. I had a lady come and pick up some chairs, so when I cleaned up my storage unit that started at 55 last year, went to 89, and then they jacked it to 189. So before I paid 189 for the next month, I cleared out my storage unit. I had these chairs in here. They were from my grandma's. There are Cushmans, probably from the 1940s. They were not in the greatest of shape. They definitely need refinishing. But anyways, this lady came all the way from Massachusetts. So she was in Detroit visiting a friend, and then she drove all the way here near O'Hare, Chicago, Elk Grove Village, where I live, Illinois, to pick these up. And she was driving a Prius. So I thought that was weird. I was like, really? You're going to drive all the way here for for some chairs? But she said she already had two others, and she was into refinishing them. So on to the next project. Here's another cool car that I picked up for $1. More fishing stuff. My neighbor Larry has on like just an entire garage full of fishing stuff. Finally sold this Peugeot watch, which I had a few bucks into, so that was nice to get $24 out of it. Here are the twins, again with no feet. So again, you find good Brat styles out there that are from not that old. These are only 15 years old. Some of them are worth a lot of money. These are the Adidas shoes I picked up for, I think I had like under 40 bucks into them. So I think I have 2 pairs of these left. So surprised the other 2 have not sold because I am the cheapest, and I'm not a size 10.5, but I bought a size 10.5 because that's the most common guy's size. So if you're going to be purchasing shoes to resell, you want to make sure you pick up sizes that actually will sell. So don't pick up like dude size 5s unless it's like a really popular model. Sometimes you get a lady that's a size 6 or 6.5 that'll buy a dude size 5. Pick up the most common size. So for ladies, that's size 8.5, and for guys, that's size 10.5. I delisted and relisted this Joe Cocker album. I had it very, very high. It's an actual promo album. The cover is absolutely trash, but the album's in decent shape. And anytime you can find a vintage rock album that has a white label inside, it's an actual promo. So that was something they pre-released before it actually released into the store. So that was cool to finally sell that. But that was like, I think I have like 3 records left from my parents' original collection, which they had like hundreds. So don't really like selling albums on eBay just because they're big and annoying to list. This pewter set, these are all made in Thailand, so that was nice to sell. I think I paid like $1 for these, and I have quite a few of them, so hopefully more of those sell. They're just card holders. So when you're having a fancy party and you want to put little card holders as decorations on your table. This was again from my daughter's friend. She didn't want this Tory Burch purse, which I was like, okay, and sold it for 135. But these purses, brand new, are 500. So to put in perspective, like everyone knows Coach. Not too many people know Tory Burch, but this is a very, very small purse. It was really cool to get 135 bucks for it, and so be on the lookout, I guess, for Tory Burch. Sold some nail clippers. I know, right? $13 for nail clippers. You kidding me? But they're old, made in Korea from the 1980s. They don't make them like that anymore. They're all made in China, and they suck. So the old ones will last forever. And yes, I did sterilize them. I'm not gross. So a little rap CD of mine. These kind of blew me away. So I had my sambas. So I had my sambas listed at my garage sale for like 40 bucks, right? Because I was willing to give someone a deal. And somebody grabbed the pair. And he's like, "I'll give you 10 bucks for it." I'm like, "No, man." I'm like, I'm listing them on eBay for like $100. So, anyways, they don't fit me. I don't know why I buy a size 11, but they are Y2K. They're from 2000. They did have to get authenticated, but I was able to sell them for 90 bucks. So Sambas are very, very much always in style, very popular, especially if you can find a vintage pair that's in good condition. And they're very easy to clean. So if you are out there at garage sales and estate sales and you see an old pair of Sambas, look at the tag, and here's where you can tell the date. So it's September of 2000 when these were made. Now there's a made in Korea ones that are worth even more. They're a little bit older than this, like from the 90s, but you can make some decent money. This one kind of blew me away. So it's the biggest sale while we're gone. So again, this is from my neighbor Larry. This is a shark tooth that he picked up that I decided to list for 300. Now I did have it on sale for 265 like 2 weeks prior. But again, when I left for vacation, I took the sale prices off my store because I was away. I wasn't really expecting a lot of sales, but sure enough, this was the first thing that sold once the sale ended, which I thought was weird. So it obviously must have been a new buyer. There were a lot of viewers on this. There was 267 views up here. This is the guy who bought it. Beautiful example. It's a very large, you don't want to say megalodon either. I know so many people that list shark teeth. This is a great white tooth. If it was a megalodon tooth, it would be bigger than my hand. So I've seen a lot of people list regular shark teeth and they put megalodon. Megalodon is a prehistoric shark. Those teeth are like the size of your head, so, or at least the size of your entire hand. So don't do that if you're going to list it. But this was a very nice piece of jewelry. Maybe this is made out of gold. I doubt it. Maybe that's why they paid 300 bucks. But it was a very, very beautiful piece of an example, and it already had a necklace on it. Larry said he used to wear it back in the day, back in the 90s, and it was like a conversation piece because he does a lot of fishing. So don't sleep on shark teeth. If you find a nice big example that's already like in a piece of jewelry, it could be worth up to $300. Sold this fancy Nakona Western leather belt. So when you see belt there, the wild bones on it, in this case, this still has the fur from the cow on it. So it's a real leather belt. The fancier, the better. The ladies and the dudes, but mainly the ladies, love to wear these down south. And you want to look for this brand, Nakona, genuine leather. And obviously it conditions everything too. So you want to show the condition of the belt. You want to make sure you measure it, a size medium. It's not made in the USA, it's just made in China, but it's a very, very fancy belt. You can probably pick those up for a couple bucks at a flea market or a garage sale or an estate sale, because chances are, usually with the things with clothing, most estate sales don't price up clothing unless it's like, an obvious banger, but people do sleep on belts. Sold this Mark Wills CD for 13 bucks. Again, I have like 50 cents into these CDs, so I don't listen to country music that much, and I don't know who this guy is, but it had a rare NRA sticker on the back, so maybe that's why it sold for 13 bucks. I have no idea, but it's not sealed; it's used. And then sold some turquoise styled earrings, a casino uh, pin, Trifari brooch for 35 bucks, a Lexus hat, which is again from my daughter's boyfriend who moved out. He doesn't care. He gets these for free at work. He sells Lexuses for a living. So it's kind of weird. It's like 95 degrees out, and I sold a hat. My daughter didn't want this Black Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath T-shirt, and when I told my wife, I'm like, this thing's gonna sell. Watch, I'll list it for 40 bucks, and it sold within, it sold while we were gone on vacation. So I was like, cool, look at that. Here's another silk scarf, an Apollo coin, more coins. This coin I've had for a long time. I think this is the nicest British farthing or Britain farthing that I've ever owned. And it was really cool to get 65 bucks for it. And that's getting shipped overseas. So I'm assuming this guy's going to get it graded, and it'll probably be worth like $300-400 bucks. But we don't really care about the farthing that much here in the United States. But the people that live in England or in Europe definitely collect that coin. And then I sold some Vans journals. I picked these up at a garage sale here locally last year for like $1 a piece. They're brand new sealed. It took a long time to sell them, so I had to delist it and relist it a little bit cheaper, and now I've sold 4 of them. So you guys do have to pay attention to your store. If you have something that's been in there sitting for a long time, especially if it's brand new, chances are you don't have the title right, which might have been my case, or you just price it way too high. So I lowered the price and got rid of them. So it turned $1 into $9 times 4. Again, with older coins, I do have a lot of older German silver coins. I've got 50% off, so that's probably why that one sold. Someone's just looking to piece it to their collection. Here's another silk scarf. And guys, I paid nothing for these scarves. Literally nothing, like maybe 10 cents. So don't sleep on silk scarves. I sold some soldering paste. I think the person bought this for the advertisement just because it's old, and it's still usable. It still has the paste inside if you're going to do some soldering. This is my old original Cub Scouts pennant flag. I've had that listed forever on eBay. So nice to finally see that sell. I think that's the last pennant that I used to have hanging in my room. So this is a very old one. So another Dansko album, another lighter part, another silk scarf, and the last item that sold today were a pair of Levi's, which were not mine. Again, this is from my daughter's boyfriend who moved out. He didn't care about them, so I just sold them really cheap. And they were really, really good shape. So hopefully this video helps you guys out with what's out there, what things to look for, and it just goes to show like you can actually go on vacation and still have really good sales. So I hope this helps you guys out. If you get a penny in your change, don't throw it away, don't spend it, set it aside. Only if it's a 2025 though, and it doesn't have to be a Denver. It could be just a regular one that doesn't have the little D on it. See the D there? It doesn't have to have D. Anything penny 2025, it's in perfect shape. Like it literally came out of the roll. I didn't even notice either. I'd noticed it like when I went to the car, because it's you got to kind of look at it. And if I would have been paying more attention, I would have told her like, hey, can I buy that roll of pennies from you? Because then I would have had a roll of these. So I would have gave her $1 and been able to have 50 pennies worth $4 a piece. And people are still selling the penny rolls for like 18 bucks just for a roll of pennies, which only costs you 50 cents. So appreciate you guys watching my channel. I look forward to hearing your comments on how your sales have been going with your reselling venture. And yeah, hopefully some of these items that I showed you will pique your interest, or I guess broaden your horizons when you're out there looking for items to resell. So talk to you on the next one. Appreciate you guys stopping by. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.